So the other day we
Yeah,
watched a movie with a guy that I think we're really starting to try to get more into.
yeah.
That was Timecop, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme from
Four.
1994. Yeah.
1994. I remember that because they go into the future and it's 2004 and they have this really extremely modern like society in
Yeah,
2004
dude.
and
Yeah.
it's like it looks like it's really like
Cars are
2100.
ugly as hell, dude.
No, it looks like it's
Driving
supposed to be
stuff.
2100, but
Yeah.
it's 2004. Like they really made like a giant leap technologically
Yeah.
wise into the future with this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, we watched Time Cop from 1994 starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, the fucking action hero
Mm.
legend. We had watched Bloodsport previously. We fuck with that. That's
Mm-hmm.
probably like one of our best videos on the channel. I like that movie.
Yeah.
Big fans. There's big fans of Jean-Claude Van Damme on the internet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's directed by Peter Hyams, who they talk about a lot on the Video Archives podcast. Roger Avery likes this guy a lot. He did,
Really, I didn't know that.
Capricorn One and some other shit. I'm not super familiar with his work, but yeah, we watched Time Cop. Anyway, you wanna
Time Cop's exactly what it sounds like. It's a cop that travels through
travels,
time to I think it starts with someone in the American Revolution robbing gold with submachine guns.
Civil War.
Yeah, the Civil War, submachine guns, and
yeah, it's the most random intro scene that you never come back to.
You never come back to. You never see that dude again. Blah blah blah. But essentially, the thing is we created time machine. But the limitations of this are you can't go into the future because it hasn't happened yet. You can only go into the past. But if you go into the past and you change something, it has ramifications on the present.
Yeah, pretty basic time travel concepts that go on, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, the idea of we can't go into the future yet is kind of a weird thing, but whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, these people, bad people, somehow have access to this time machine, and they're going into the past, and they're either getting rich, benefiting themselves, blah blah blah, and then it turns out there's this whole conspiracy that Jean-Claude Van Damme has to uncover and stop. And
yeah, I'd like to go back to the beginning because literally the intro scene it's 1863 in Georgia, and the Confederate Army there's this troop of a Confederate Army on their horses, and they're in a carriage and they got the flags, and then this random guy in a robe shows up on this path, and then he's like, you better give me the gold or else you're gonna die. Basic ass villain speech type shit.
Yeah, oh my god, this script is so by the books basic, dude.
Yeah, and then he fucking takes out 2 submachine guns and shoots up all the fucking Confederate guys there.
Yeah.
Then we cut to 1994 in a mall, and we get what's her name?
Well, no, we cut to the present.
The present day, 1994.
Yeah.
Which the movie was made in 1994. So we're in a mall in 1994. Whatever her name is, Mia Walker, Sarah Mia. The actress from Ferris Bueller's Day Off is in this. The girlfriend.
Oh, that's what she's from.
Yeah. The hot girlfriend in that plays the wife of a cop played by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they meet at this mall, and then we find out that he's married. He's a cop in wherever the fuck they are. Where the fuck are they? In
DC.
In DC. They live in this really nice house. They have a lovely marriage. They're so in love. We have a sensual...
Fucking really nice house, dude.
Yeah, big house.
Oh my god, dude.
They have sex, and then what happens
The fourth scene in the movie is the sex scene.
Yeah, they have a really sensual sex scene. And then they get raided, and they get raided from some unseen force. We don't know who it is, but he eventually he avoids the blast of the house, and his wife gets killed.
Yeah.
And he survives. And then we cut to 10 years later in 2004. We find out that the CIA created this operation, or the government created an operation to stop time traveling villains that are going back into the past and using it for, like you were saying, for their own advantage, either betting on the stock market. But his main mission, the main plot of this, is that there's a politician that's running for president in 2004 that is using time travel for his own benefits so that he can win the presidency as a candidate.
Yeah.
And that's the movie.
This is an 80s movie made in the 90s.
Yeah, it's...
This is What's the guy who wrote? And
Yeah.
it's like it's a fucking 80s movie that just looks way better than 80s movies. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, it's really well. There's money that went into this movie for sure. It's really well done. Set pieces, the way it's shot, costuming. There's some period piece stuff in there that looks really great.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie has a cool little trippy plot to it. It has like sort of this like time travel Tenet thing where it's like, oh, can we go back and like the original premise is that like, can you actually change things in the past, or does everything happen for a reason? You can't actually change things, and even if you did change, went back to the past, it would have already happened. That's kind of like the premise of this movie.
Yeah.
Is that he goes back in time to stop this time travel criminal politician guy, and also to try to like save his wife, right?
Yeah.
We get some action scenes here and there. I wanted some more. Jean-Claude Van Damme is a real martial artist, like trained martial artist.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie is more of a shoot 'em up movie.
Yeah.
We don't get too much hand-to-hand combat, which I was kind of looking forward to seeing. I wanted to.
We get some. We
We
get like
some,
a
but it's
very
mostly him shooting a gun, right?
yeah.
Whereas I think that, for an action hero vehicle like him, like the things that you want to see are like the hand-to-hand combat shit that he does, because he's so fucking cool. Like his kicks and shit.
Yeah, it's so fucking high, dude. Oh
yeah,
my God.
and I feel like we don't, like in the beginning, they tease the kick because he robs the guy.
Yeah.
And his fucking, just so fucking flexible with his kicks, but we don't really see any more of that.
Yeah, I mean, we see like there's one scene that's a very Jean-Claude Van Damme scene with like his ass on the counter, dude.
Oh yeah, he has a really nice ass, dude.
Dude.
And he takes himself. He's just like
yeah, he's like so like fucking ready to go, dude.
No, he's so flexible, and like that's like such a trademark Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It really is.
The splits he does and stuff, and like
he's great. Like in every movie I see of him, like he can kind of just like has a little bit of that Steven Seagal like cheesiness to him.
Yeah.
But
all those guys do.
He is a good actor, dude. He's a really good like emotional actor.
Yeah, he tries really hard.
He does.
He leans into it and he takes it really seriously. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not the best actor, but he does take his roles seriously. Like, and he, even with like this like goofy premise, he's like, oh shit, I gotta save this, I gotta do this, and he's and it's just interesting that we were talking about with his wife, like even 10 years later after his wife dies, he's still not over her, and he's like watching videotapes of his wife. 10 years
he goes
later.
home, he cracks open a beer and like turns on the TV, and it's a homemade video that he made.
And it's 10 years after his wife already died, dude. It's like, dude, get over that shit. And I think his whole motivation is the fact that his wife was killed and he's trying to find out who did it. But then again, we're talking about the whole message of this movie. It's very like American message of, oh, love is worth fighting for. But I wish by the end of the movie, it was more of like he gets over the fact that his wife died and he moves on. And we don't get that in this. Spoiler. If we're going to go watch the movie before I say this. Go watch the movie before I say this. 3, 2, 1. In the end, he's able to save his wife, and then and the wife is still alive 10 years later and all this stuff. But
it's a very happy.
It's a very very happy ending. Whereas there's two things I want to say here. One, I wish they had done like a thing where it's like, like either the wife doesn't die, or maybe like, I don't know, there could have been a more creative way of like, getting over like loss, or better message, a real message for people. But it was too like this bullshit American like feel good ending. Also, and then just let me say one more thing.
Yes.
Too. The rules of the time travel is broken. Their own premise is broken because they're saying that all of this, when he goes his future self in the beginning of the movie, when we actually already happened, and the wife knows everything and all that shit happened already. Yeah. But then did he like fail the first time and then the wife dies, or did she have to die for him to go to the future to come back? That doesn't make any sense of like it's paradox of like how he saves.
It is a paradox because it's like essentially they're saying like you can rewrite it. So it's like, I assume before the movie starts, there's a timeline where it's like he goes and he becomes like a time cop, right? And he does that, his wife lives, whatever. And then the evil guy goes back in time to stop that all from happening and kill his wife, which starts the event of what we watch, where he goes back in time to stop the evil guy from going back in time. to ruining that timeline, and it's just bizarre.
Is that so? Are you saying that in the beginning, Jean-Claude Van Damme wasn't his future self wasn't in the beginning, or was he? He
his
wasn't
future
there.
self wasn't in.
Okay, so you actually.
But those
can,
guys that rob him
yeah, are
and
from
kill
the
his wife
future.
are from the future. Yeah.
Okay, so that means that there is a timeline where the politician lived to 2004. Then so the original timeline he lived to 2000, he's in 1994. Jean-Claude Van Damme and his wife lived to 2004, but then
For
the
whatever
politician
reason.
goes back in time. The movie starts for us.
Yeah.
He kills his wife.
Yeah.
He goes to the future to 2004.
Yeah.
Then Jean-Claude Van Damme finally discovers time travel, goes back in time, saves his wife, and then there's a new timeline, and then his wife is saved so he can change the past. So that actually all just happens to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in that timeline, at the very end, in that timeline, the politician doesn't exist anymore because
he killed
the
him.
rule of this movie too is, what they say, like, same
if
matter.
You kill yourself in the past, then you kill yourself in the future.
No, it's like the same matter can't take up the same space.
Oh yeah.
And so when he does that, he erases him completely.
Yeah.
So like he throws like the future self into the present self or whatever, and then it's like becomes a weird blob. Like that's the other thing we have to talk about is the CGI.
Oh yeah. The CGI is so goofy.
Oh my god, just like
it's so goofy, dude. That's just like kind of the charm of this movie because everything else is really well shot, really well done. Like it looks very cinematic, shot on film. Everything looks great, like set design, all of that. Maybe like some like the electronic shit looks a little goofy. Like the CGI has not aged well whatsoever, dude. Like this is why you don't want to use CGI in your movies because it's just not going to age well. Like if you're just, I mean, like obviously, like some of the interface stuff, like it's like some After Effects shit that looks like shit. What can you do about that? Mm-hmm. You know, but you know,
it definitely has there's a bit of a charm to it, but for the most part, you're like it's like goofy as hell, dude.
Yeah, it has a camp vibe to it, like a really well made camp vibe to it. But this is Jean-Claude Van Damme's like highest grossing movie of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. It made like over 120 mil, and it's based on a comic that one of the writers of the book, or the writers of the movie, made.
That's
called Timecop, which is an interesting premise, you know.
It is. No, it feels like very comic booky.
Yeah, it is.
Like there's like more to the story.
Yeah, it's very comic booky. I think if you're familiar with like the sort of 90s action movie, sci-fi stuff, I think you know what you're getting yourself into, and you would know if you would like be into this movie. Like, is it a super serious movie? Like going into it like thinking like, oh, this is like some art, like serious message? No, it's just like a fun, tight, hour 30, fucking 37-minute movie.
Yeah.
Like doesn't overstay its welcome. It's a fun little thing. Not the greatest movie. It's alright. Bloodsport's better, but you know, whatever. It's a fun little Jean-Claude Van Damme action vehicle. And yeah, anything else you want to add to that? I don't know.
There were some characters that were like not really like there were so many characters that were introduced that like didn't really mount to anything.
Yeah, like the black woman.
Yeah, her, and then like some of the villains too. Like it was so confusing. Like who's the dude with the mohawk? Like who's this fucking dude? Like it seems like the villain had like all these henchmen that you never got to know. You know what I mean? At least in like RoboCop, like you kind of get to know the villains. You know what I mean? I think that's like makes the action movie even more appealing when it's like, okay, they finally get their comeuppance, and you're like, fuck yeah, that fucking creep's dead or something like that. You know, like I feel like you never really got that other than like the main villain is the only person.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to have seen more of that in a way, like a little more introduction to that. But like, yeah, it really jumped all over the place, dude. It really did.
Yeah, it did. And then in the end, when he comes back and the politician is dead, Honeycomb, who's that?
Yeah.
Who's that? And then he walks by that black girl and he's like, hey, tell me to give him another chance.
Yeah.
And she's like. Yeah.
I'm like, oh my fucking god, dude. There's some therapist from Mr. Robot.
Definitely some American studio cheese, MGM gloss.
Yeah.
American dream. The American dream is having a beautiful wife and a big house and a nice kid to live on. That's what this movie tells you, hey, if you want to be happy, this is what it looks like. And it's worth fighting for this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what you get from it.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, definitely commentary on like sort of Reagan, America.
But I feel like it missed the mark. You know what I mean? Like that time's passed.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like an echo of like
Yeah.
what RoboCop did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it for what it was worth, like I liked it. I'd rewatch this.
Yeah, I'd rewatch this too. This
Yeah.
is like a fun little thing. But anyway, have you guys seen Timecop? We're gonna probably watch some more Jean-Claude Van Damme in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let us know what we should watch because we've only watched Bloodsport and we've only watched Timecop and maybe you've seen a couple more, but I want to know like what you guys recommend we should watch of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, and stay protected and connected. Medium Cool Show, we out, baby.